Hello everyone, my name is Phúc. A company needs to make a profit in order for its company to be sustainable and to be able to survive. And in order to make a profit, then first it needs to have a revenue stream or it needs to make some sort of revenue. Because if it can't make any revenue or make any money in other ways, then it can't have any profit. So now I am going to talk about the revenue of business, how to value a business or a company based on its revenue stream or based on its revenue, and some ways in order to increase the revenue. Okay, so first, what is the revenue? Revenue in short, it is the amount of money that a company make in a certain accounting period, and this is before subtracting or extracting any other costs. Like for example, we don't subtract the taxes, don't subtract the costs, etc. It is just an amount of money that we receive, the company receive, not subtracting anything else. So there are actually two uh, two types of revenue. The first is the operating revenue, which is from our main business activities. For example, many main business streams, it is usually from selling products or selling services. And then about the non-operating service, non-operating revenue, then from the name itself, it is not really direct. It is like indirect to the company. For example, the company can have earn operating revenue, which is like that company can invest in our company or like build some things. And so that is about two types of revenue. Okay. So now I will talk about the importance of revenue. Why is it important? As I said before, revenue, it is like making profit or having a company to survive. Because if a company have good with revenue, it has a high revenue, or then it has a much higher chance in order to have better profits than a company with less revenue. And if a company just have really little revenue, then its company is just not going to make enough profits and it won't be able to survive. So a company needs to have sustainable revenue or source of income. And then secondly, it helps to evaluate. It is a kind of a way in order to evaluate or to this company. Because like if because as an investor, so like people inside the company, if that people think that company is doing well, it has good revenue, because like most of the time then most of the time company wants like pass on about their profit. So we just talk about the revenue. So that means that revenue can be used like as a way in order to indicate about a company ways of doing things, and so it will help investor in order to decide which companies should they invest in, like a sort of useful information, inside information for the company. For the investors and for the company, it is also true. It can be able to use for the company in order to decide for its future decisions, to make better decisions in the future. And I think that it is like the mainly two importance of a revenue. Okay, so next it is how to value a company based on its revenue. As I said before, a revenue, a company can, if a company is two companies like is in the same industry, then if an investor sees that this company has a revenue of like $1 million per year, this company only have $500,000 per year, then the investors will most likely will invest in the company with $1 million per year. And okay, and to talk about how to value a company based on its revenue, then it will be the revenue times about the industry price. For example, if industry number is 2, then that means that it will calculate based on the revenue times 2, and it is like and it is like that. So that is the reason why most business will usually calculate or usually decide to invest in other company with like the same aspect of industry, for example, to make it to be easier, because in different industry then different revenues can be different things, because some industries really little amount of money in order to be successful, to make a big amount, but then in other industry that they need really huge amount of money in order to be successful, to have like a good profit margin. Okay, and now I will talk about how to increase our revenue, the revenue of a company. First, the first way in order to increase the revenue of a company, it is just rising prices. Because if we're selling the same amount of products, then the company will just raise price. But if it can keep the number of customer, obviously, because if the prices is too high, if it is higher than the customers' determination of the value of the company, then that means that customer will just go away and will choose a different product. And and then the second way, it is about trying to get more customer in, which is through like improving our products or like improving the customer services, etc. Trying to increase the customer like frequency, and trying to like some ways. And there's also another way, which is just attracting investors, or like if we call it funding, which is obviously not a revenue. But if a company can be able to get some big investors to have that company to have a good funding, then that means that company will be able in order to be able to like produce new products and like develop new ideas to be able to make better one, and thus increase their income or their revenue. And about why should a company like care for about investors, that is really important, because if a company would just rely on itself or like cooperate with other business where it don't really have anyone in order to have such funding in, like such an investor in, that means the company is going to fail. Which really the company can just pass by with no investor, because imagine if other company is in a bad conditions, and then it needs a amount of money in order for its company to grow. It lacks money, and if it calls a bank, then it could be. But for a start company or for a small company, then it is really difficult, because the bank will normally charge higher taxes, higher interest rate for like a new startup company than an old long-term company. And so that's the reason why like investors are really important, like for startup company, in order to have good funding, increase revenue, etc. And thank you everyone for listening to my video, and thank you. Bye bye.